So our first year anniversary is coming up. Our first episode, Terminator vs. Predator, dropped on August 1st of last year. And so we'll be dropping a bonus mini episode on Monday, August 1st of this year. We have a few things planned for it. We're going to talk about the increasingly weird Smash Fiction continuity that we've created, among other things. But this is an opportunity for all of you to ask questions of us. So if you ever wondered about the show, maybe the lightning round, or how we select episodes, or how we make decisions when we judge. I mean, maybe you just have questions for us that have nothing to do with the podcast. Questions about what our favorite podcasts are, or questions about tabletop RPGs, or what our favorite comic book movie is, or what our favorite ice cream flavor is. No question is off limits. Except for those questions that are off limits, and, well, we probably just won't answer those. You can get in touch with us through the usual venues that we list at the end of every episode: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, email. And again, that episode will be dropping the 1st of August, but we'll be recording it a couple of days early, so try to get us your questions before then if you want to hear it on the show.
Welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit two or more fictional characters against one another in a battle of strength, or wits, or teenage angst channeled into a murderous fury, and see who would win. This week, Arya Stark versus Lyra Belacqua versus Wesley Crusher versus Hannah Montana.
It's never not funny.
No, it really isn't. Oh, boy.
Over 100,000 people are craning to get a glimpse of this year's tributes, and the sponsors get to see the tributes for the first time. The importance of this moment can't be overstated.
There they are, this year's tributes. Oh, this is the most exciting part. It just gives you goosebumps.
And don't you love how the stylists so clearly are able to reflect the character of each district?
Right. Oh, there's District 3.
Yes, the Space District. That appears to be Wesley Crusher. Smart boy, I heard. Very smart.
Oh, but not very popular in his own district, I hear.
But you know who is popular? The Music District's own Hannah Montana.
Ah, rumor says she leads a double life.
Daniel, the plebeian sort don't have single lives, let alone double.
Ah, you're right. A recent study revealed that poor people don't actually feel pain.
And our next tribute is quite lucky for it. From the cold and unforgiving northern wastes of District 7 hails Arya Stark.
Doesn't she look a bit young?
Nonsense. To think a young Commodore girl could effectively masquerade as anything else.
Wait, what is that? A ferret?
That is the demon of our final tribute, Lyra Belacqua. I think it's a marmot.
Oh, nice marmot.
Oh, that made me happy.
I knew it would.
I'm so glad you guys like that writing.
Well done, guys. Well done.
She'll be needing all the marmots she can find because this year, the arena designers have simply outdone themselves. For the first time, the arena will be divided into 4 distinct zones, each far more perilous than they at first seem. The first zone, a blistering desert of loose sand, where the oasis is stalked by hungry, water-dwelling mutations. The second is an unforgiving icy tundra, where periodic gusts fling foot-long, razor-sharp shards of ice through the air. The third zone is taken up by a mountain with sheer cliffs and countless boulders waiting to be jostled from the most precarious of places. And lastly, a perpetually dark swamp with poisonous water and carnivorous plants. Whom of the tributes from districts far and strange has what it takes to survive the most dangerous game in what is perhaps the most dangerous arena ever devised? Balls if I know. That is why I, Kit Mulcairn, am your opulently dressed judge for this match. Advocating for Arya Stark will be Miles Schneiderman.
Lyra, Wesley Crusher, Hannah Montana. Lyra, Wesley Crusher.
Awesome.
Hannah Montana.
Oh, clever.
Advocating for Lyra Belacqua will be Dan Mulcairn.
My demon is Godzilla.
Oh shit. 10 points to Gryffindor.
God damn it.
Advocating for Wesley Crusher will be Colin Mulcairn.
That was the sound of y'all getting crushed.
Oh, God.
I can feel it already. This is a good one already. This is a good one. And advocating for Hannah Montana, of course, will be Liz Logan.
I can't stop. I won't stop.
Okay, let's all take a moment to breathe.
Oh. What has happened to this podcast?
It's only begun. You realize that, right?
Is this jumping the shark? Is this how it happens? Like, are we experiencing this live?
It would be Liz.
Oh, it's gonna be so much worse.
In order to determine who goes first this week, I released my chinchilla wig into the Andes Mountains and sent these 4 advocates to retrieve it. Liz thought she was slick and bought me some chinchillas from a pet store. Nuh-uh, no cheating. Colin tried for a while, but settled for getting me a llama instead. I mean, I guess that's all right. Miles and Dan worked together to retrieve the missing chinchillas.
Yeah.
But with the final rodent in hand, Dan betrayed Miles in a total Scar and Mufasa moment at the edge of a cliff. Dude, but a win's a win,
I
right?
totally saw that coming.
Let the Hunger Games begin. Lyra Belacqua, may the odds be ever in your favor.
First and foremost, Hunger Games tributes need to be survivors, able to defend against not only what nature throws at them, but also what the other tributes throw at them. So, they need to be someone like Lyra Belacqua. Lyra travels to several different universes in her journeys and experiences incredibly harsh environments, from icy, merciless tundra to hell itself. Each of these circumstances presents her with challenges, but she's always able to overcome them. Part of her success in these areas is due to Pantalaimon, her demon. Where Lyra is fiery, unruly, and adventurous, Pan is patient, wise, and cautious, meaning that right off the bat, Lyra benefits from a dual perspective that no other participant will have, to say nothing of the usefulness of having a whole other character on her side. Pan can take the form of any animal, so if they need to see the landscape around them, he can become an owl or a bat. If they need to sneak up around or spy on the other competitors, he can turn into a mouse or an insect. If they need to fight, he can become a bear or a tiger or even a dragon. In fact, this ability is especially useful in a fight, as Pan shows great aptitude in switching quickly between forms during combat, big and strong one moment, small and evasive the next. What's that? Isn't Arya Stark known for being a survivor? Well, sort of. She's known for being an occasional cold-hearted badass, but those rare and isolated moments are scattered amongst a lot of really bad decisions and missteps, most of which are based on her greatly overestimating her own abilities, and all of which would get her killed in the Hunger Games. She's nowhere near as clever and judicious as Lyra is, and Lyra has a shape-shifting best friend to boot. But let's not forget that tributes are also dependent upon the support of the people for the much-needed supplies that will give them an edge over their enemies. This requires tributes to be extremely socially canny and effective. Again, a lot like Lyra. We see throughout the Dark Material series that Lyra can manipulate other people's emotions to a ridiculous degree without even really thinking about it. She manages to trick Yofa Ragnarsson, the king of the armored bears, a feat so impressive it was thought to be literally impossible. She bargained with harpies, which in the series are demonic entities that torment the souls of the dead, and managed to turn one of these pure evil entities to good through the power of her personality. Then, she managed to inspire the hopeless ghosts in the land of the dead into a full-on revolt against God himself. What's that? Hannah Montana can charm people? Well, sort of, but Hannah Montana is really just a pop star. Writing catchy songs to appeal to tweens is one thing, but we see from Katniss that the sorts of people who most inspire the audience of the games are iconoclastic, wild, and independent, able to challenge society's conventions and preconceptions, all of which are attributes Lyra possesses in spades. But Hannah Montana is just a little too conventional to start a revolution. Finally, the last thing needed in the Hunger Games is a sharp mind, the ability to anticipate both your opponent's actions and the unpredictable and frequently lethal changes in the environment around you. Once again, you'll have to be a lot like Lyra. Lyra possesses the alethiometer. After just a few moments with this device, Lyra can learn anything, past, present, or future. She could learn about the traps of the games and what she needs to do to avoid them. She could learn what any of the other tributes will do on a given day. Or she could learn about the other tributes' weaknesses and how they can be defeated. We see that she's able to get the answer with complete accuracy to any question she asks, no matter how detailed or obscure. All of this is due to her incredible intuition, which lets her read the alethiometer with greater speed and accuracy than other characters in the series who have trained with the device for years. What's that? Isn't Wesley Crusher some kind of boy genius? Well, sort of. Similar to Arya, we see that he has a tendency to get himself into trouble when he thinks he's a lot smarter than he is. Also, keep in mind that his expertise is with 25th century starship engineering, but when it comes to survival, thinking on his feet, and dealing with people trying to kill him, he's woefully inexperienced. So Lyra's not only a social savant, she not only has a shape-shifting demon companion, she not only has a device which can tell her anything she wants, she also has phenomenal instincts and intuition. She picks up on things that everyone else misses and can immediately understand exactly what's going on and exploit the situation masterfully. In any given contest, she will be 10 steps ahead of everyone else, and in the Hunger Games, falling behind means getting killed.
Ooh, strong star. Arya Stark, may the odds be ever in your favor, unlike the rest of your family.
Oh, sick burn. I really love the selection of characters we came up with for this match. It's almost perfect. I mean, you have Wesley, the boy genius, and Hannah, the super popular one, Lyra with her shape-changing animal companion. It's a really nice variety of people who can each use different strategies to try and win the Hunger Games, and I'm really proud of us, guys. Just want to say that. Arya Stark, of course, is the stealthy, survival-obsessed, sword-wielding murder machine with no moral compass and extensive assassin training. And if that's all she was, then maybe this would be a fair contest. But like I said, this character selection is almost perfect. It's not exactly perfect, because you all made a huge mistake when you let Arya into this match. Because the thing is, while Arya can win using the just kill everyone and let the many-faced gods sort it out strategy, she can also win using the outsmart everybody strategy, or the be popular strategy, or even the use supernatural powers strategy. None of these characters can play the game Arya's way, but she can play their way and win every time. Let's start with the easy way. Arya is a stone-cold killer, which is something none of these other characters can say. Every night before going to sleep, she says her own personal prayer, which consists of the names of the people she wants dead. She's done a decent job of crossing names off that list, too, as the Tickler or Raph the Sweetling could tell you if they weren't, dead. It doesn't take much to get on Arya's Obama-style kill list, but once you're there, you're not coming off. And even if you're not on her list, she still won't hesitate to skull-fuck you if you get in her way. Early in her stabby-stabby career, when she needed to get out of Harrenhal, there was a guard that presented a problem. Arya was basically like, dude, your shoes are untied, and then cut his throat when he bent over to look at them. Since then, she's progressed to just taking people out for the side quest experience points whenever her guild asks her to. And if you take that kind of no-conscience power gamer personality and add water dancer training, survival instinct, blind fighting, and an A+ apprenticeship with the most feared assassins on either side of the Narrow Sea, what you get is the quintessential Hunger Games victor. Oh, did I mention that in the show, she killed Braavos' answer to the T-1000, stole a face from the House of Black and White, infiltrated Riverrun, and killed Walder Frey after feeding him a pie made from the corpses of his own sons? Oh, but Wesley Crusher is so smart, you say? Yeah. Arya's pretty damn smart herself. Smart enough to escape the notice of all the guards looking for her in King's Landing, smart enough to trick Jake and Hagar into helping her free the Northmen in Harrenhal, smart enough to get across the war-torn Riverlands after leaving the Hound behind and negotiate passage across the sea, smart enough to kill a merchant with his own money, smart enough to seduce Raph the Sweetling and lead him by the hand to his own demise. Arya will hide in the shadows, scope you out, find your weakness, and murder the fuck out of you. Did I mention she's good at math? Oh, but Hannah Montana is so popular, you say. Dude, Arya can get people on her side. On TowerOfTheHand.com's top 50 characters list, she came in at number 2, only behind Tyrion Lannister. Look at any of the 10 million best Game of Thrones characters lists out there. Book, show, doesn't matter. She's in the top, 3 every time.
She doesn't have her own show named after her.
Yeah, she's like a vicious psychopath, but do you know how much money Deadpool made? Do you know how many people are still voting for Donald Trump? Oh. Everyone loves a badass, y'all. Plus, Arya is really good at intimidating people into being friends with her, at least long enough for them to help her survive. The careers would love this girl. Did I mention she's recently been putting tons of points into bluff and sense motive? Oh, but Lyra has magic powers, you say. Oh, that's nice. Arya doesn't need a shiny gold coloring book to figure out what the truth is. She's been trained since the very beginning to see things as they are. Also, like all the Stark kids, she's a freaking warg. And I'm not just talking about dreaming through the eyes of her direwolf. Arya has demonstrated the ability to see through the eyes of the cats and Braavos, meaning she is the only Stark besides her brother Bran to figure out that she can warg into other animals. I hope you guys like those mutations or mutations or whatever, because Arya can take over their minds and make them help her, along with any other random-ass, deadly-ass fauna hanging out in any of these 4 arenas. Hell, she might even be able to warg Pantalaimon. How fucking sick would that be? Did I mention she's one hell of a horseback rider? It literally does not matter what anyone else does in this contest. Fighting, stealth, survival, tactics, popularity, supernatural abilities, Arya has the edge in every conceivable way, and no matter what you do, she will ultimately stick you with a pointy end. Valar Morghulis, motherfuckers.
Oh, wow. All right. Wesley Crusher. May the odds be ever in your favor. As usual, you Gary Stew.
Never tell me the odds. Oh, wait, sorry. Wrong week.
Wrong episode.
So, as a general rule, Star Trek fans hate Wesley Crusher. He is often cited as an example of one of the most egregious Mary Sues in any work of fiction. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he's hyper-competent, which is sort of what that term has come to mean over time. I mean that he is a perfect example of the original definition of that term. He's a blatant wish fulfillment character created by the writer to be an idealized version of themselves. They're typically young and inexperienced, and they're consistently way better at everything than everyone else, and they're loved by everyone they meet. And, according to legend, Wesley Crusher was hated by all of the writers on Next Generation, with the exception of the one writer who invented him, the creator of Star Trek, Eugene Wesley Roddenberry. That's right. Gene Roddenberry's middle name is Wesley. Subtle. So how smart is Wesley Crusher? In one of Wesley's first appearances, an alien being known as the Traveler is trying to improve the efficiency of the Enterprise's warp drive, and Wesley offers suggestions to improve his formula, the genius of which greatly impresses the Traveler. So then when they attempt to enact the formula, it causes the Enterprise to go faster than any ship has ever gone in the history of the Star Trek universe. The Traveler later equates Wesley's intuitive skill at engineering to the level of skill in music displayed by a young Mozart. Also, turns out the Traveler's so smart that he has the ability to modify reality around himself with his thoughts, and Wesley is the first one on the ship to figure this out about him. And this is before Wesley is even an ensign on the ship. He's just Dr. Crusher's annoying kid at this point. Once Wesley starts actually working on the ship, man, things get way more ridiculous. He creates some nanites as a science experiment with the ability to network their intelligence together and make each other smarter, so, you know, that ends really well. They end up multiplying out of control to the point where they take over the ship, and they claim to be more advanced and intelligent than the crew of the Enterprise, and in exchange for the promise of peace, the Enterprise crew deposits them on an uninhabited planet and makes a deal with Starfleet that this whole planet now belongs to this species of robots. So yeah, one of Wesley Crusher's school projects ended up becoming a new intelligent species. Cool. What else? There's this bit where people on the Enterprise start using these new VR headsets, and it turns out they can take over your mind, and eventually everyone on the ship except Wesley gets brainwashed by them, and he's the only one who can figure out what's happening, and he's the only one who can save the day. There's like 15 other episodes I could walk you through right now to illustrate this point further, but it's the same story every time Wesley gets a spotlight episode. There's some crazy new problem, some sort of unexplainable scientific phenomena. Everyone on the ship is totally baffled, but Wesley's the only one who's able to see what's going on. He invents some new device that is considered cutting edge by the standards of Star Trek out of whatever crap happens to be lying around, and he miraculously saves the problem. There's this bit where he's stranded on a desert planet, Dan, who's saying that he doesn't have survival skills, and there's this one source of water in a cave that's being protected by a force field, and this mysterious being made of energy that they call a sentry, and no one can figure out how to get past the force field and get past the sentry, but Wesley takes apart his communicator and his tricorder, and he makes this new device that he doesn't really explain that freezes the sentry in place, and then he like flings it at the force field and they both explode, I think. There was a lot of glowing and flashing lights. I don't really understand what was happening, but that's the point I'm getting to. Nothing Wesley does ever makes any goddamn sense, but it always works. He is, without question, the best techno-babbler in the history of Star Trek. So whatever problems the Hunger Games throw at him, while everyone else is panicking, Wesley is going to look at the threat, figure out what it really is, and then do something crazy and unintuitive, probably inventing a revolutionary new piece of technology to do so. And given that Wesley is from a society that is technologically centuries ahead of the one from the Hunger Games, and I might add, the only competitor here from a technologically advanced society, nothing the games throw at him is going to be more advanced than the toys that he built himself out of boredom back when he was in the 4th grade. Oh, also, in the last episode of TNG that Wesley is in, he learns how to stop time with his thoughts. Just from, like, being smart and understanding that existence is predicated on thought. He learns how to manipulate reality, and now he has the power to travel anywhere in space and time and even to alternate realities. I'm not joking.
Worst.
I'm not joking.
Worst.
His old buddy, the Traveler, from that episode then shows up and tells Wesley that he has evolved to a new level and he is ready to take the first step on a journey that few other humans will ever experience. And that is how Wesley Crusher leaves TNG. How smart is Wesley Crusher? You tell me.
I think I speak for the group at large when I say, shut up, Wesley!
Gene Roddenberry, what the fuck?
Dude, that guy was a tool.
Yeah. Well, the Star Trek fans' loss is my gain in this episode.
All right, well. Hannah Montana. May the odds
Wait.
be...
I need another drink.
I was just gonna say, I'm ready.
This is it. The moment everyone's been waiting
All
for.
right, try this again.
Yep.
Hannah Montana. May the odds be ever in your favor, and may the sanity checks be in mine.
Okay, so Hannah Montana is basically the flipped James Bond of teendom. Girls want to be her and guys want to be with her. She's witty, talented, a hard worker, and worshipped by all. By the end of this battle, the other characters will be begging to be a part of her dream, which is to make sure everyone dies. So, let's start from Hannah Montana's storied beginnings in the only form true to Hannah Montana, in song.
Oh no! Oh no!
On a lovely farm in Tennessee, where I just wanted to be with family. And with all my animals and pets, it was the very best. The best. The best. But then my mom passed away, and no longer could I stay. So I sing and sing and sing and sing in beautiful California. But I wanted to be a normal girl, so I made a new identity. Everyone loves Hannah and Miley, but will they ever truly see me?
Oh,
So there you have it.
So if there are any fans still listening, thank you for sticking around.
Yep. There goes any hope we had of putting up a Patreon.
How could Queen Hannah Montana not be an excellent combatant for the Hunger Games? She's basically an animal whisperer. She's been winning contests in eating and singing at an early age, so she knows how to compete against others. She successfully pulls off leading a double life. She sweet talks her way out of anything, gets away with anything, is smart enough for college.
Ooh, write that one down, Judge. Smart enough for college.
Yeah.
She knows how to deal with loss and knows how to say no to that cute boy from science class. She's used to hard work that comes with...
Does she rub her own blood on a pipe ever?
Okay, let me please continue. Okay. She's used to the hard work that comes with living on a farm, and being in a wilderness with no modern amenities won't scare her. Her gracious eminence, Hannah Montana, knows what she wants, and what she wants is to win. Hannah Montana's fellow contestants will be falling under her spell due to her being so damn likable and singing those darn catchy tunes. When Hannah, as Miley, decides to sing some stupid song in class in order to go on a trip to Europe, her teacher goes to tell her to shut the fuck up. Instead, another student decides to stand up for Hannah, tells the teacher to shut it, and the teacher freaking listens. Then, the whole class spontaneously breaks out into song and dance, backing her up. Talk about cultural power. It emanates from this girl. Oh, and the song she sings, it's all about bones. So now she knows exactly where to hurl her microphone in order to break the useful ones. Which brings us... Which brings us to her tools and other completely practical skills when it comes to the Hunger Games. Hannah Montana is a gymnast, a cheerleader, and a tumbler, by far the most athletic of the bunch. She will be able to dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge out of any situation in the Hunger Games, whether it be climbing a tree, running away from mutant bees, or laughing at Space Boy, the girl that looks like Space Boy, or the girl that looks like a discount version of Hannah Montana. In addition... part of the Hunger Games is to impress the audience in order to gain care packages. As a performer, Miley, also known as Hannah Montana, knows how to please and will of course be performing impromptu concerts and giving the audience inspirational gold like, and I quote, "I don't want to be perfect, but I do want to be a role model. My mom always tells me that imperfections equal beauty. All of us are imperfect. How can you not reward a teenager saying anything else but I hate you?"
Oh my god.
Plus, let's talk about the fact that someone her age is able to lead a double life. By maintaining two different identities, she isn't afraid to hurt others in order to keep her deadly secrets. She could easily make friends with one of the other contestants and then suddenly switch to her absolutely bloodthirsty singing angel self in order to get ahead. And due to her expert knowledge and creativity when it comes to clothes and styling, she could easily pull a Peta and disguise herself as a stone. Before anyone else even says that she doesn't fight, she definitely does. She and her brother engaged in absolutely mortal combat with costumes to match their bloodbath. And at one point in her show, in a spy-like montage, she infiltrates her school with Dolly frickin' Parton! And she's obsessed with Harry Potter, so you know she knows about the Triwizard Cup and tweens competing against each other. If some wizard kids can do some crazy competition, so can the illustrious Highness Hannah Montana! But back to Hannah's original power. It should be noted that when your wiki has a section solely dedicated to relationships and crushes, you've got an enormously powerful heartbreaker and sweet talker on your hands that can convince others to help her, just like Katniss did, and she got all the motherfucking care packages.
I think I might have a slightly better crusher.
Ugh. Shut up, Wesley.
Hold on a sec. I have a few more cans in case the first one didn't go well. I had some backups.
I'm not surprised.
Liz, are you done? Because when you finish, I kind of want to insert a moment of silence for our fans to just do a slow clap for this masterpiece that you've come up with.
I told you it was gonna be worse.
Boy, oh boy.
All right, well, if Hannah is done, it is now time for rebuttals. And I believe the way this works is everyone gets to attack Lyra now.
So I think you might be slightly misrepresenting Pan when you say that he can turn into a dragon. Let's be clear what we're talking about when we say a dragon.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're not talking about like end of the movie Maleficent, her familiar turns into a dragon. We're talking about like something roughly the same size and weight of the aforementioned marmot.
Well, that's not 100% true. When he turns into a dragon in the Golden Compass, he's described as being the size of a wolfhound, which is a type of dog which is larger than a Great Dane. So, like, he might not be the size of, the Maleficent dragon, but he's basically the size of a Komodo dragon, except presumably he also has wings and maybe can fly. That's still a pretty significant advantage in the Hunger Games against these chumps.
I hate doing this because I love Lyra so much. I love those books, and she's just one of my favorite characters. But the fact of the matter is that on her own in the Hunger Games, Lyra is a fantastic character, but she is not a self-sufficient one. She needs other people to survive time and time again. If it's Yorick Burnison or Will Perry or the Egyptians or her mother in a weird way sometimes. It's not just a matter of having to go into a fucking trance every time she uses the alethiometer, which she totally has to do. She sometimes gets that wrong anyway, but whatever. She just needs other people. Other people are always, Will fights a lot of her battles for her, which I'm not taking anything away from their relationship, but he does, because he's more of a fighter than she is. Yorick fights a lot of her battles for her. There's not a whole lot that she does on her own.
The reason that she so frequently has people with her is largely because of her personality, because she is so likable and because she does tend to draw people who are loyal to her. But first of all, I think you're forgetting that she's never really on her own. She always has Pantalaimon with her, and she always has the Golden Compass, the alethiometer, which is like, in and of itself, kind of another character because it can actually give her advice and tell her what needs to be done and in what way in order for her to survive. But the other thing that I'll say is, I think you're forgetting about one of her biggest early victories, which was when she was captured by the Armored Bears and brought before Iofur Raknison, because she was put in a cell by herself. It was just her and Pan and the alethiometer, and she managed to figure out what she needed to do in order to utterly bring about Iofur's downfall by herself.
First of all, that's not true. She was there with an old guy. He was crazy. He was in the same cell as she was. And he gave her very important information to take down Iofur. Second of all, the only reason she was able to take down Iofur, like you portrayed as a miraculous, like nobody can trick a bear and everything.
But he has that
that's
huge
true.
obvious weakness, right, of wanting to be human, right?
That's the thing. He wasn't acting like a bear. He was acting like a human, which is why she was able to trick him. And the last thing I'll say is that she doesn't draw people to her because of her personality. She draws people to her because there are prophecies about her, because she has a destiny, and because they all are in some way invested in her in terms of her importance to the overall shtick, so to speak.
I'm gonna go back to the fact that she's a discount Hannah Montana. You're talking about how people love her. Excuse me, but she is a ruffian. She has an unruly attitude. She basically instantly pisses off everyone around her, especially other teens, because she likes to pick on other people and play pranks on other people. And how is she gonna be deceiving the greatest of all deceivers, Her Majesty Hannah Montana, who holds a double identity and who has already successfully deceived everyone she comes into contact with as her lowly other self, Miley Stewart? She tricks a silly armored bear. This girl doesn't even have any experience navigating high school, which is basically what the Hunger Games are.
Is it?
And she's only got...
What movie did you watch?
she's only got one friend, and everyone else thinks she's a nuisance. And pan, excuse me, but in Spanish, pan means bread, and bread is only good for eating and not turning into dragons. So shut the fuck up.
All right. Well, I want to make it clear right off the bat that I have no counter argument for that last point you made. That was well-formed and entirely supportable.
What the part
about pan meaning bread.
Oh, I also have a Hunger Games being high school.
Oh no. I think Liz just accidentally watched The Breakfast Club again.
I mean, my school did have the acid fog, but I thought that was kind of weird.
All right, so you guys have been trying to take down her ability to influence other people. One thing that I think is kind of easy to miss is the fact that what makes Lyra so good, first of all, is the alethiometer. It doesn't take her very long to consult it. It takes maybe a few minutes. And assuming she can find somewhere, to sit and hide, which, assuming she gets past the first several seconds of the Hunger Games, she absolutely will, she can consult it and say something like, that Wesley Crusher, what do I need to say to him to get him on my side?
The answer, by the way, is shut up, Wesley.
That's true. So she can figure out what needs to be said to any of these people, but even without the alethiometer, she still has that ability basically naturally. One of the reasons that she was able to fool Iofur Raknison was because she figured out through her intuition alone what Iofur wanted to hear, and he willfully believed her. So what this shows is that Lyra is a master of that most effective form of deceit, telling people what they want to hear. It makes your lies all the more palatable.
Can I say
I have
something?
to just take issue with that real quick because that is absolutely not true. She heard at the beginning of the book, she heard the name Iofur Raknison, and she heard somebody say that the only thing he had ever wanted in his life was a demon. That was the source of her deception in that case. She did not figure that out on her own.
Right, but she picked it up because she noticed things that other people would have discounted and forgotten about. That's her intuition, and that's her using her social abilities in time with her intuition.
A lot of this seems to be predicated on the fact that she'll survive the first few seconds of the Hunger Games when everyone's in a mad dash to get your little tools. I don't think she's ever even going to get there.
Arya Stark, you're on the chopping block.
You mentioned that you think that Arya's charming and all that kind of stuff. I would point out that people who see her typically think that she's a boy, even when she's not trying that hard to look like a boy.
I didn't say she was charming. I said she can develop a fan base.
Right. Well, she can develop a fan base of people outside of a work of fiction, but within the work of fiction itself.
The Hunger Games basically is a TV show. One giant, bloody TV show where lots of people die, including your favorite characters. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if Arya can garner a fan base via Game of Thrones, she can garner one via the Hunger Games television broadcast.
Miles, when you represent the children of Eddard Stark in Smash Fiction matches, you have a real tendency to overestimate their ability to enter into the minds of animals. As you pointed out, in the books, Arya will occasionally, and without meaning to, in her dreams, see through Nymeria's eyes. Now, this is, I think, because she's extremely familiar with the direwolf. In the TV show, and not in the book, she's able to see through the eyes of the cats that are wandering around in the city.
No, she does it in the book, sir.
When does she do it in the book?
In A Dance with Dragons.
Okay, I don't remember that, but you are obviously the authority on that.
She's like fighting the kindly man, the priest, because he's trying to, get her to be able to blind fight, essentially. She finally manages to hit him. Basically, it's because she was able to see through the eyes of a cat nearby.
In any event, it doesn't really matter that much because keep in mind that when she was training as a water dancer back in King's Landing, she had to study the cats. She had to chase after them and try to catch them. When she wargs, first of all, it's more or less explicit that she can't do it willingly and certainly can't do it easily. And it only seems to be for animals that she's extremely familiar with. And you also have to keep in mind that Pantalaimon is not an animal. He's a demon. He's basically basically the external manifestation of Lyra's soul. He's not actually a creature in the same way that direwolves and cats are.
Well, I mean, we have seen evidence that at least one of the Stark children can warg into people's souls.
For the
but
record,
not
Dad is
Arya.
claiming that animals don't have souls, Kit. I'm just gonna...
Nobody has souls,
Ouch.
Colin.
You're right in that she has never demonstrated the ability to do it willingly, and you're right in that she has primarily demonstrated the ability to do it with animals with which she is familiar. The Hunger Games, are they mutations or mutations? Anyway, they are described explicitly as being wolf-like, which I would say is a huge point in her favor. But beyond that, I mean, you're right, Dan. That is merely a wild card, extra little bonus piece of her monumental badassery.
Between Arya's outbursts, her complete lack of tact, and her ability to piss off almost everyone, where's your imp, Cersei? She for sure is going to be a target in everyone's eyes. I mean, even you mentioned her adorable little killing list. She is shown throughout A Song of Ice and Fire to not really have any motivation to kill unless there's some sort of emotion behind whom she's setting out to kill. Otherwise, her conscience constantly stops her. For example, in the most recent season of Game of Thrones, which I'm glad you brought up, Miles. I didn't want to bring this up because it kind of seemed like a low blow since you hate the show, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. She spends months training to be a high-level assassin, yet the second she frees herself from her training shackles and resumes the identity of Arya Stark, she goes and starts throwing money around and being as conspicuous as possible, and then gets herself stabbed in the gut and falls in a river. If not for her conscience in saving the less evil fake Cersei Lannister ripoff when she was tasked with killing her, which, hint hint, she failed that too, she would be dead! Her emotions have governed all her actions and completely cloud her judgment. And again, back to Hannah Montana, the savior Hannah Montana's secret power, Arya is not going to be winning any care packages either. She doesn't care for any drama, which is what the audience of the Hunger Games lives for. She certainly doesn't care for romance and won't be starting any, like Hannah Montana definitely will. God forbid it be with Wesley Crusher, but if savior Hannah Montana needs to do it, she will do it.
Okay, regardless of your attempts at shipping Hannah Montana and Wesley Crusher,
Not the first time, I'd wager.
I am not throwing fan art of that.
As the representative,
Somebody will.
As the representative speaking on behalf of Wesley Crusher, all I have to say is he'd hit that with an inverse tachyon beam.
Oh God! All right. So as I mentioned to you guys before the match, I was primarily drawing from book Arya Stark with an option to include some show Arya Stark because they're very, very similar characters. However, Season 6 significantly diverges from Arya's character, as you mentioned, Liz, the bullshit about how she opted not to assassinate her target when charged with doing so because of her moral issues. That is not the case in the books. In the case of the books, she does assassinate her target quickly, with a brilliant plan, and effectively. In addition, you say that she cannot kill people unless she is emotionally driven to do so, otherwise her morals get in the way. So her first kill comes in the stables of the Red Keep when she kills the stable boy who's threatening to out her to Cersei. Then she kills a whole bunch of people when the soldiers attack her and Yoren and the Night's Watch recruits. She kills the aforementioned guard at Harrenhal in order to escape. She kills the squire along with the tickler in the Crossroads Inn. She kills Darion, who is a deserter from the Night's Watch, when she runs into him in Braavos. She kills the insurance salesman, again, the merchant in Braavos, who died because that was the job. So that is just not true. She will kill you if you are in her way. She will kill you for basically no reason. So I would argue strenuously with your points, especially, I don't know what you were talking about with the imp and Cersei. I don't know what that was, but I don't remember any of that.
She asks that when they visit Winterfell. Where's the imp? Because Tyrion wasn't there with them.
She doesn't ask it to Cersei. She asks it to her sister, and she's just like, I want to see the imp.
Yeah, complete lack of tact.
Okay, well that's cool. She does manage to get a crew around her at multiple points during the books.
Miles,
So-
I did appreciate your hashtag Dan list. Did not go
you.
unnoticed.
Thank you. Hashtag DanList indeed, sir.
I don't agree with that interpretation of the character.
All right, well, Wesley Crusher, get wrecked, I guess? I don't know what to say.
Get
Crushed.
Wesley is relatively smart and intuitive, but he regularly gets himself into terrible circumstances that he's utterly incapable of getting himself out of. You know, like there's that episode Data Lore when Wesley correctly suspects that Data has been replaced by the identical android Lore, but then Wesley ends up getting attacked by Lore because he goes to him and like openly expresses his suspicion, and the only reason he survives is because his mom comes and saves him. But his mom isn't here in the Hunger Games, and there's no one who will come to his rescue when he inevitably bites off more than he can chew.
Okay, that's fine, but compared to everyone else on the Enterprise, he was the only one that figured out that it was actually Lore, not Data.
And it almost got him killed.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but... But there's lots of other times where he does good things and he makes really good decisions. Like the one where with the Data headsets where he makes like fake headsets to put on so that he looks like he's one of the people that's been like mind controlled by the headsets.
Oh, you mean the game?
The game. That's the best episode
Yeah.
ever, where they play a game that looks
episode.
like a Windows 95 screensaver where you're putting like discs and little, it's the best.
He's really lucky that he had a crush on some girl so he could figure all that out.
Some girl. That was Ashley Judd, a young Ashley Judd. Totally made out, and it was great.
Where do you even start with fucking Wesley? I mean, look at all the people who actually die in the Hunger Games. They're the ones who think they're better than everyone else. You know who makes it the furthest in the Hunger Games? Pragmatic people like Hannah Montana, who are able to make friends and impress the audience. I mean, on a meta level, the audience absolutely hated Wesley. How is he supposed to kill other kids? What exactly even is his motivation? Just because he always wants to prove that he's right or has, you know, whatever his solution is, how does that even make him a good candidate for the Hunger Games? He's completely oblivious to everyone around him. The world, the universe literally revolves around Wesley, and that would make him a horrible contestant in the Hunger Games. I mean, he's afraid of lightning and rats. How lame can you get?
Well, okay, so I don't know if this would break the scenario a little bit, but I kind of feel like if this was an episode of Star Trek, here's how things would go down. I think he would like open some panel and find some of like the hidden machinery that controls the arena and like hack into it and like take control of the arena in a sort of like Cabin in the Woods third act sort of thing. He's like, oh, we're in this arena. Well, if I do this, blah, 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 now I control the arena and all the monsters work for me and all of you are free and this planet is now free. And like, that's, if this was an episode of Star Trek, that would be how it would end.
So let me tell you why he wouldn't do that.
Okay.
It's because Wesley is from, the future, as you mentioned. And you seem to think that this grants him the ability to comprehend the technology that we're working with on tonight's episode. Sir, Wesley Crusher is an extremely smart young man, but he was never particularly good in school. Wesley Crusher, as far as I'm aware, never got into the academy. He failed the test to get into the academy.
The first time, which Picard also says he failed the first time. He tried
that's
to get
cool. I'm just going to say he's not a great student of history. Like, Wesley is an engineer. He knows all about how things work together. But in terms of history, like, he's not going to really be able to comprehend these ancient technologies that he's working with. It's like if you were a really smart person and somebody asked you to repair their, like, vinyl music player. What are you going to do? You don't even know what these parts are called, and you can't find replacements for them.
He's going to turn it into a hologram projector that, like, beams
With
music
magic?
into your mind out of, like, whatever. He's like, I fixed it, and now it lets you, teleport to the moon. And, like...
Okay. Also, Wesley has really terrible fashion sense.
It's
Is
the
other
same
thing I
as
wanted to say.
everyone else in Star Trek. Oh, no, wait.
Well, whatever. He's going to really look like shit in that parade, dude.
No, no.
The stylists are not going
Actually,
to be able to save him.
Whenever he can pick his own outfits and you see him in, like, his civilian clothes, I agree, they look terrible. It's like, it's like orange and there's, like, ruffles. Yeah, no, I agree with you on
He's
that.
not going to have any
Actually,
patience.
orange and ruffles sounds a lot like what the nobility in the Hunger Games wears.
Actually,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Hannah Montana. I mean,
Just come to this.
what can we say about you that hasn't already been said
Oh,
about?
I can say plenty.
Oh.
Can't fucking touch this shit.
All right, Liz. Now, I've done some research on this. Some painful research. So I hope
Preaching to the choir.
I hope you appreciate when I say that in the episode Song Sung Bad,
Oh my god.
we see that Hannah Montana is terrified of spiders. which
Oh, snap.
Pantalaimon can transform into, and which Lyra can discover with the use of the alethiometer.
We also see in that episode that she's terrified of a sword in the gut.
Yeah, well, you know what she's not terrified of? Bows and arrows. And since she is blonde Katniss, that's what she's going to be using. So she doesn't need to deal with any lowly swords. And excuse me, but what did I say about Pan? That's bread. In Hannah Montana's mind, that's going to be not some damn spider. And excuse me, but I haven't seen any spiders in the Hunger Games. I've only seen mutant bees, some crazy forest fires, and you know what? Hannah Montana is from California, and we have plenty of fires, so she's not afraid of that either. Whereas lightning and rats, there's definitely lightning in the Hunger Games, so you might want to direct your attention to Wesley Crusher.
I didn't really come up with anything to rebut in your opening statement, Liz, because my mind was melting. Basically, you know, like a motherboard can do sometimes
How
when
do
you've
you
had a computer
think-
for a really long time.
How do you think pop music works, Miles? It's doing exactly
Shuts
Yeah.
off your mind.
intended.
Yeah. However, my completely melted brain did manage to stick on something you said during your rebuttal to Lyra, which was that you don't think Lyra would make it out of the cornucopia? Yeah.
Excuse me, but part of the Hunger Games is the lead up to the actual contest. Hannah Montana obviously has the best style sense out of any other contestant. She's gonna be paraded around like a fucking peacock, and everyone is gonna think she's so damn cool. She is going to be singing her siren song the instant everything starts. Hannah Montana is a master manipulator. She's a master deceiver. She gets
Okay.
people on her side no matter what.
There's this thing I saw on BuzzFeed a while ago. It was like things that movies think are a lot harder to do than they actually are. Hannah Montana is one of the most egregious examples of that. She has these like really big, obvious sitcom character level phobias and inabilities to do things that ordinary humans in the real world do not find difficult at all. Like there are huge episodes that are all about like, she's afraid of going to the dentist. Like all of these things, like the most basic being a human operations baffle her in like a good portion of the episodes that I've seen.
I believe that's a function of her being the daughter of Billy Ray
That
Cyrus.
may be the case.
Do you know why that's in the show? Because if there were any other way of her to actually be able to convey that to the lowly audience, because Hannah Montana is on her illustrious, most highest, eminent pedestal, no one else would understand what the fuck is going on. So she has to dumb herself down in order for us, the lowly audience, to actually understand what the fuck she's getting at, because she is on such a high level. Otherwise, no one would understand what she's getting. That's part of why she is so easily relatable.
guys-
You're saying that she
you guys-
descended.
Hannah Montana is too deep for us.
So you're
That
saying
sounds
she
about right.
She descended from on high and became human to walk amongst us and learn our ways and
Where
get
do you
stuff
think
like
the
fear of
double
the dead.
identity came from?
Just like Jesus.
Are you saying she's a Maiar?
Yes.
Well, how good of a record do they have in Smash Fiction? Is all I got. to say.
Oh, no.
I think she's saying she is a, so to speak, deific being.
Figure of
right.
worship.
Yes.
I knew we'd come around
yeah.
to this eventually.
What an amazing performance from our tributes this year. They survived some of the deadliest traps ever devised and have put on the show Pan Am will never forget. We've already seen a lot of firsts in this year's games, but how about another? As I speak, the arena floor is shifting to reveal a racetrack that winds through each of the 4 zones. At the start...
Wait, are you not going to introduce a lightning round?
You have to say lightning round.
Oh yeah, ba-boom. I was
Guys,
kind of just,
We've only been doing this a fucking
I
year.
was keeping up my announcer shit. As I speak, the arena floor is shifting to reveal a racetrack that winds through each of the 4 zones. At the starting line are numerous vehicles, each equipped differently for different levels of defense and lethality. What sort of vehicle will each tribute pick? What types of devastating weaponry will we see employed? Can the tributes avoid the perils of each zone, or possibly make use of them during this race to end all races? The finish line will not be revealed until there is only 1 tribute remaining, and each zone will become increasingly more dangerous as the race goes on. Who will win this race before everyone loses their lives? Guess what, Hannah Montana, you're back. Pick your vehicle and its attributes and convince me that you will be crossing that finish line.
Being Hannah Montana, she has many connections to other illustrious celebrities. So, in a collaboration with the Jonas Brothers, she is going to have a vehicle literally made out of the Jonas Brothers. Let's see.
Oh my god, just give it to her. I love it too much.
Let's see if I can name each Jonas Brothers. I think there's a Nick, a Kevin,
and I form the head.
I do not remember the third one, but I'm gonna go with John.
Big Ralph.
I'm gonna go with John, Nick, and Kevin. I swear to God, and I'm missing the cute one. I know the cute one is not Nick or Kevin. Nick's the young one, Kevin's the old one, and I do not know what the third one is called. But anyways,
hey Liz, when she beeps the horn, does it say "kill me"?
So anyways, this is going to be a collaboration transcending pop culture sound. What each Jonas brother is going to be holding is a tire, and she is going to have bits and reins in each of their mouths, and she is going to have the most unbelievably Transformers human-esque vehicle. Need to fit in a tight space. The Jonas Brothers are kind of skinny. Need to transcend some mountain? Well, their huge, hot-headed egos will lift you right over it. It's the perfect combination. And she will put the Jonas Brothers in for elective surgery, and out of their mouths will shoot diamond edged titanium CDs of all the absolute garbage they have put out over the past 20 or so years. Oh, they're not that old. 5 or so years. And when she snaps their reins back or whatever, the diamond edged titanium CDs will fly out. And if you would note, they are particularly good at slashing damage. So any other tires on any other combatant's vehicle will be slashed to smithereens. She will equip them with the latest in Kevlar and Iron Man technologies. And they will be absolutely indestructible?
There you go.
Word.
Good job.
So here you are. Hannah fucking Montana on the Jonas Brothers firing crazy ass CD rocket launchers in a vehicle capable of traversing any environment.
I wish everyone could see my face right now. It's just...
I am crying and I can't breathe. Oh, bless you, Liz.
Oh, that was one way to kick off this lightning round.
You totally understood me.
Yes.
All right. Wesley Crusher, will you crush your enemies under your wheels? Bring it.
I don't know. Is the pussy wagon an option?
That seems pretty in character for Wesley.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I see a car there. I mean, that one looks 100% death proof that I see there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many good.
Unlike Wesley.
But I know. But there's kind of a poor track record with trying to run away from a group of women in that one. So.
Seriously.
Fine. I got it. He gets the Batmobile. Fine. He notices there's a rather large, heavy, black armored vehicle. Looks like it has a lovely little jet that used to be able to was designed to be able to jump over bridges. If anything goes wrong, it starts to fall apart, it can deploy a little motorcycle that can fly out of it. And of course, it has all sorts of other wonderful things that it was not designed to do that Wesley can hotwire it into doing. So yeah,
Colin,
we're going with
how
that.
did your choice make less sense than Liz's?
The Bat.
For Wesley Crusher?
I don't know, man.
All right. Arya Stark. I imagine winter is coming on 900
yeah.
horsepower.
So, as we set upon this challenge, Arya, because she is very good at discovering things and learning secrets, discovers this weird place called Sugar Rush, where you can build your own car, except it's a Westerosi version of it. So the car that she builds for herself, first of all, is totally metal. It incorporates symbolism from all of the gods of death present in the House of Black and White. So Basically you've got like the Black Goat of Cahor and the Stranger, all these symbols all encapsulated in various elements of this horrible black beast of a metal piece of car.
Which is made of cake batter.
No. A Westerosi version. It's made of Valyrian steel, motherfucker.
No, it should just be made out of Westeros food, though. So just like, really eloquently described food.
Dan, you can bullshit on your turn. Okay, this is my turn to bullshit. It's made of Valyrian steel, which means you're not getting through it. And you know how Arya likes to stick things with the pointy end? Yeah, this whole fucking car is covered in fucking pointy ends because there's spikes and swords and all kinds of shit. Oh god, it's so metal! Ugh, they're everywhere. And they're gonna pop your tires and run through your fucking windshields and skewer you in the face. And, to cap it all off, you know how Vanellope and her car have that, like, glitching ability? Well, guess what? Characters from Game of Thrones have a really bizarre ability to just kind of teleport wherever they need to fucking be because television and it's bullshit. So guess what? Every character from Game of Thrones has the ability to teleport with their vehicle or their army or their dragons or whatever the fuck. So I have a metal as fuck teleporting death car. Eat it.
This is what you get for making them open-ended, Kit. You brought this upon yourself.
It's exactly what I wanted. And finally, Lyra Silvertongue. I hear you're tricky. How about you help yourself to a tricked-out ride?
The obvious choice was Yorick Burnison. Just an armored bear. But that's not what I'm going to go with. Because you see, it turns out that there was a race held at this very stadium not long ago, and they happened to leave a lot of stuff lying around, including several weird-looking red and white spotted mushrooms. And Pantalaimon ate one and immediately grew to several times his size. So therefore, Lyra will be riding Pantalaimon. And he is a giant shape-shifting animal now. So for the long stretches, he can turn into a cheetah, or possibly, if he needs the stamina, he can go wolf. When they get to the mountainous level, he can turn into a goat. He can make his way through any of the environments, shifting and changing with ease, leaving everyone else in the dust.
First of all, I just want to point out the blatant continued pandering with the animals going on here toward Judge Kit, in addition to the Godzilla referencing opening stinger which you used. You, sir, have no confidence in your ability to win.
Miles,
and you figure you can just play on the sympathies of the judge.
Miles,
well, let me tell you, buddy, cheetahs aren't faster than cars, so fuck you.
Just because you just realized you could have picked a direwolf, that's not my fault.
You know what? A direwolf can't run as fast as a fucking car, so I don't want one.
Well, guess what? While all of you have been doing this, Wesley Crusher, he got the Batmobile and Stuntman Mike's car and the Pussy Wagon, and he put them all together like the best pieces of each one. So that's what he's driving.
It's appropriate that was the lightning round, because I think this show just drove straight off a cliff.
Somebody
and it has a warp drive.
Shoot me in the face.
Please.
I'm gonna go shoot myself in the face. But if I change my mind, I'll be back and I'll tell you what I'm gonna... I don't know, dude. This is hard. Bye.
Oh, God.
What has happened to our podcast?
I don't understand what happened. It
used to be so lovely.
We used to have shows that made sense, right? I'm not making that up. Our matches used to make sense. That was a thing that happened. Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Is this our bottom? Is this where we finally...
It's
have
our
a good
something,
hard look
man.
in the mirror and turn our lives
all
around?
I know is I'm having another drink. That's all I know.
This is the penultimate episode of Smash Fiction.
What's the ultimate episode?
This one.
Liz, do you know what penultimate means?
Pen-ultimate.
It means last bread. Penultimate.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Bread
Hold on,
for
Miles.
eating, not for shape-shifting. Hashtag awareness.
Was that a public service announcement that Hannah Montana had to do?
Hey, kids. We have a lot of fun here.
But sometimes bread gets the better of us.
But sometimes Liz chooses to play Hannah Montana in a match.
Which will never happen again, because let me tell you, I didn't enjoy this black hole either.
We were talking about this over email, and you sent out a very excited email about how you had found the secret to winning via Hannah Montana. And I'm real real curious what was going on that particular night when that discovery was made.
Let's just say illusion. Critical hit, illusion, Hannah Montana.
Well, I will say, you produced an argument, which is honestly more than I suspected possible for Hannah Montana in the Hunger Games.
I think she might win.
Yeah, I would not be entirely surprised if that was the case.
I just worry about the precedent that would set for what our future arguments would start looking like.
We would lose all respectability. Like,
Nope.
it would call all of our previous judgments into question.
I think you have to lose for the good of the podcast.
This is a Liz Logan branded argument.
All right. So, this match, holy shit, you guys. I'm not going to go on for as long as, say, Dan does, but
Well, we've done that work for you today.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think some people didn't address their own lethality as much as perhaps is necessary in the Hunger Games. And I think what this game comes down to is, though popularity is really, really important, I think how you win the Hunger Games is your ability to survive and your willingness to murder the shit out of everyone else. So hard.
So wait. Not Hannah Montana.
But you were really popular. You might get a statue.
Yes!
I gotta give it to Arya, dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's who I had picked to win too. God damn, Hannah Montana is smart.
All right, so more tweets. Thank you guys. Vander Turner said he gets weird looks when he's in public and the judge picks the team he was rooting for. So that's awesome. Black Patty, who I'm pretty sure is a Twitter account of a character on Zane Weber's podcast, one of his many podcasts. But thank you for retweeting Mal versus Han. The Indulgery tweeted about the new Extraordinary League. Thank you. He also said that Stitch was his favorite RPG character after Taco, which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
That's so sweet.
No,
Taco is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like,
He's basically everyone's favorite character.
Emblem625 said she was so happy when Mal won. She squealed out loud. So happy to make you squeal.
Yep.
All right, and over to Tumbles, my name for Tumblr. Geek Haven reblogged Extraordinary League and also Mal versus Hans. Thank you very much. By Forge and Fire also reblogged those same matches. All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging in there and listening to another Smash Fiction podcast. Next week, Lucille Bluth versus Mallory Archer.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Hitman. You can find his work at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Wait, I should do Next Generation.
Dun, 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 dun,
All right,
dun, dun,
Liz,
dun,
it's a
dun,
golden
dun,
I don't know.
dun,
Hannah
What's the Hannah Montana theme song? I'm sure you know.
I don't know. Hannah Montana. I don't know. Hannah Montana is the best.
Hannah
Montana,
Hannah Montana.
She kills everyone in the Hunger Games.
In her dreams, maybe. In her dreams, maybe. In her dreams, maybe. In her dreams, maybe.
Well, maybe Dan should shut up and go fuck himself.
Yes, he should, Dan. Yes, he should, Dan. Yes, he should, Dan.
Because Hannah Montana wins everything.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. No, she.